welcome to Thfc Till I Die. Me, live from Tottenham. I'm actually here now for the game on Wednesday. And Philip, the Godfather, who's coming over on Wednesday to see us when we play AC Milan. Philip, how are you? And how is Dublin? Is it cold as it is here in Tottenham?
It's wet and kind of miserable this evening, so hopefully it'll be better tomorrow on Wednesday when we're travelling over.
So it is. It's supposed to be very cold here tomorrow and Wednesday. Now there's a weather warning over here for 2 days now.
Lovely.
But do you know what, Philip? I'm looking forward to the game, but also looking forward to getting back to Ireland. I genuinely miss Ireland. I don't know what it is, but coming to the big city is it's very overwhelming.
Yeah, it is a big city as well.
Up in the big city, and I've lived so many years in Gorey, and it's like come here and it's like wow, it's all big. But anyway, that's enough about that. How do you think on Wednesday that Tottenham should approach this game, Philip? How should they approach it?
They have to come out on the front foot. Okay, bad and all, the Saturday was against Wolves. At least in the first half, we were the dominant team. And we didn't score, but at least we were creating chances. 14 shots, I think we had before Wolves had a shot. 11 in the first half. So we have to do that. We can't allow Milan to get settled and to start pushing us back. We've got to go at them from the first minute. It's the only way to do it. You know, I mean, I know this counter-attacking football is Conte's way of doing things, but I think we need to go back to the old Tottenham way in the first minute or two of that game and get at them, get at their throats, don't let them settle, unsettle them, get an early goal, and who knows what will happen after that.
Yeah. Do you think this is make or break for us this season? Is this game make or break for us?
Well, for cup competitions it is. Like we're still in with a chance of the top four. But the way I look at it this way, we get a result against AC Milan and it boosts us up for the coming campaign and for the top four. We lose on Wednesday or go out, we draw nil each and go out, then it's a downer and we have to pick ourselves up again. And I don't know whether the team has got the mentality or the backbone to pick themselves up again. And that's why it's so important to get a result on Wednesday.
And also, Philip, there's a lot of talk of Conte. There's a lot of talk, should he stay? Is he going? Is he staying? If we lose on Wednesday, should he go then? Should Tottenham just get rid of him and just start fresh?
Well, I know we do need a refit. And I think if we lose on Wednesday, I think he might make up his own. He might inform the board that he's not staying beyond July. Or June, and that puts the board in a position. Do we carry on with a lame duck manager for 2.5 months, or do we cut him loose now and get a new boy in? That's the big question for Daniel Levy, and it's all going to be down to a case of if he sacks Conte, he has to pay him a severance fee. If he lets his contract run out, he doesn't have to do that. But what's the damage? The damage to the team in the meantime could be immeasurable, and we might be lucky to finish in the top 7 or 8. Because we've got Liverpool breathing down our neck now, as well as Newcastle.
I do you know what I was thinking today? I was talking to Dave today, and I said to Dave, are we heading back to the 90s with this Spurs side? If Conte leaves, whoever comes in, are we going to have a couple of seasons of being in mid-table, not qualifying for anything, and just hoping for a good cup run?
Jeez, I hope not. But it depends on who comes in. You know, I mean, a new manager could. Okay, we've been the last 3 that have come in haven't done. We all thought they were we thought Mourinho was the man. He was going to do it. Well, we never had much faith in Nuno, but we have lots of faith in Conte, and none of them have delivered. So who's to say the next man will do the same? If he's working under Levy and under Levy's tactics, for want of a better word, then the chances are you could be right. But if we bring in somebody who's got, you know, a good vision, plays decent football, and get the best out of the players, and plus he's back in the transfer market in the summer, then I hope we carry on, because we've been so consistent in getting into Europe. It'd be an absolute tragedy for the club not to. And
but Philip, do you think we need a season with no European football just to refocus?
No, because we have no European football. We don't attract the players. Look at it that way. If you're trying to buy a decent centre half from Europe and there's no European football on the horizon, chances are you have to go take a hike, you go somewhere else that has European football. It's a huge draw for players. So I think we have to try and keep going in the European scene. If we don't, the chances are all we're going to attract is homegrown talent, and there's not a huge amount of that coming along up to that I can see.
No,
most of these centre halves are foreign guys.
Yeah, our youth system, our under 21s or under 18s are having a dreadful season. They really are, and it really shows how lack of depth we have in that department now. Do you blame Levy for that? Do you blame Hitchin? Do you blame Paratici? Well, who do you think should take the blame for the youngsters coming through that we haven't got the likes of a Glenn Hoddle or David Howells or somebody to come, or Harry Kane that came through the ranks?
In a way, I blame Conte because there's no way he's going to play a player that comes through the ranks. Has he ever done it? Not that I'm aware of.
No, I don't think he has.
Andy Devine made the bench on Saturday, I think, but that's about the nearest anything will come to it. So I think you've got to blame the manager who wants ready-made products coming into the team. We need a manager that's good at both. Pochettino was good at bringing players through. We need someone like, and it's not necessarily Poch, but someone that will look at the academy and say, right, you're training with the first team, and give the guys a bit of confidence. All I can hear is moaning and groaning from the lads in the academy. They're not. They signed for Spurs on a promise, and that promise is not being fulfilled, and there's little or no chance of making it through to the first team. And they'll go off and they'll probably sign for first or second division clubs, and they'll be heard of again. And it's a shame because there is definitely some talent down there, but they're not getting the money.
Yeah, who would you bring in, Philip? If you were in charge, who would you start bringing into the first team? What players would you bring in?
Well, we've got that. What do you call him? I can never remember his name. Andy Devine, of course, he'd be one. There's the guy, the striker. What's his name is? I don't remember his name is. Very highly rated young lad. And there's the Donnelly fella as well. His father was complaining about the lack of operation, the lack of chances his son was getting. There's not that many more that I can think of,
Dean Scarlett.
Dean Scarlett, forget about these guys are out on loan. Dean Scarlett and Troy Parrott. They need to be. They'll be back at this club in the summer, as will there'll be 8 loan players coming back in. Now, what's going to happen? The squad is top heavy. We've too much mediocre players, too many mediocre players, and not enough quality. Now, I hope Troy Parrott would go out and tear up trees at Preston. He got injured scoring his only goal, and while he's back in the team again now, he's not scoring goals. Dane Scarlett similarly went to Portsmouth. The manager, and for the first half of the season, loved him and played him nearly every game. Changed the manager, he's been on the bench most of the time since. Although he did play at the weekend. But they're the likes of. But then again, we've got the likes of Ndombele, Lo Celso, Harry Winks coming back into the fold in the summer. And so either we have a car boot sale and get rid of them, or what? I don't know. We're going to be tough.
For me, Philip, who's going to buy them? I mean, let's look Ndombele for one, right? He's at Napoli. Napoli are on course to win Serie A. We know that. And the deal was if they get into Champions League, they can buy him for a cut price. I think it's 20 million or 25 million euro.
I'll take their hand off for 20 million.
Yeah.
Really?
Do you think we have to start selling these players at cut prices, just get them out one way or the other?
That's what's going to happen. It's going to be like I said, a car boot sale. That's the way we're going to get rid of them. And, there's no way. Didn't Daniel Levy value Harry Winks at 20 million? I think he put a decimal point in the wrong place. 2 million would be more like it.
200,000?
Yeah, maybe. Although he's doing all right with Sampdoria now. But no, he's never going to play for Spurs again. So we've got to sell him on in the summer. And okay, we're not going to get market value for them. We're going to get a few bob. We might raise 10 million from the lot of them plus 20 for Ndombele. That's 30 million to spend on someone decent. And also trim the squad down to a manageable levels. Because those loan players are 8 of them. And unless the clubs, okay, there might be 7 if Ndombele goes to Napoli. But I don't think the other clubs that they're at are actually knocking down the door to sign them.
No.
They'll quietly say, right, lads, away you go back to your club at the end of June. So it's going to be, if whoever comes in, if somebody does come in, they're going to have the eyes in the back of their head to see what's going on with this squad, really. And then with the likes of, is Harry Kane going to stay? If Conte goes, is Kane gone? I mean, most of the papers have him sold to Manchester United already.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
You've got
tough.
Kane, Son. You've got Kane probably going. Son will go. Romero will probably go. So
Well,
you're
we'll
looking
have
at,
him on a long contract, so I don't think he'll go.
yeah.
I think Romero might stay. He has to stay. Romero needs to stay with us.
But we're supposed to be signing up the deal for Kulu now as well. That's supposed to be 90% done.
But he
So at
wants to
least
start
that's
playing
one
he
good
wants
bit
to
of good
start playing
news.
a bit. He's not
Mm.
playing. He's playing really below par at the moment. And he needs to come back to get a bit of form back, as they all do. The entire forward line at the moment could not knock a hole in the paper bag the way they're playing, and that's the problem.
Well, Philip, let's go on to Wednesday now. And the first question that we have here is look, for me, it is important to have Conte back on Wednesday. It's important to give the team a lift, maybe a bit of a different from Stellini, where the last two games haven't been great. Maybe the players are not playing for him, or maybe they're not playing for Conte. We don't know. But would this feel like a new manager bounce for them on Wednesday, having Conte fit well and sort of like back to his Tiger's best on the touchline? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll tell you after the game. That's the only way we're going to know. If the team turn up on Wednesday night and perform like we know that they can, right, but haven't done it. If we get a Chelsea-like performance on Wednesday, then we could say, yes, it is important having Conte back, you know. But he's going to have to get his tactics spot on, and he's going to have to get his team selection spot on, and he's going to have to make his substitutions, timely substitutions, not after 87 minutes when it's too late. And also bringing on the right players, not bringing on Lucas Moura like Stellini did the weekend, with Richarlison and Dan the Man sitting on the bench scratching themselves, wondering why they weren't coming on. That was absolutely crazy what he did on Saturday, really. I don't care what it was a shop window substitution, but trying to get a few bob from him at the end of the season, and that's why they put him on, to give him other teams to have a look at him. And whereas the other two guys that have just come into the club can't even get on the pitch. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Really
do you feel, right, it's something I want to ask you, Philip. Do you feel if he had played Danjuma against Sheffield United and against Wolves, do you feel we might have won them games?
Yeah.
And we know the team played badly, but would they have been a player that may have just sparked something?
He's a new player trying to impress. He'll try that little bit harder, and all he wants, okay, with a bit of bad luck on Saturday, we hit the crossbar. I think Porro really broke the crossbar with his shot. Son hit it as well. So Danjuma could have just had that little bit of a spark that Wolves wouldn't know what to expect from him. They know what to expect from all our other players because we're so predictable. But you bring in a player that hasn't played much, and unless they were watching them out in Spain, wherever he was, then they wouldn't know what to expect from him. So he could have been a good surprise addition to the team. But he might have been on the last minute. I don't think he even did. But I mean, to have him sitting on the bench, vegetating, where Lucas Moura comes on. Now, I'm not against Lucas Moura. He's a legend, really, for getting us where he did. But he's yesterday's man, and we need to get rid of them and get tomorrow's men in.
Do you know what? I was thinking about that the other day, Philip. Is Lucas Moura really a legend, or is he just a player that got us to a Champions League final? Is that enough to give legendary status at Spurs?
Well, in years to come, it probably will be. You know, it's not so much his exploits over his entire career that have done it. It's the fact that he got a hat trick in the Champions League semi-final in the second half. He will always be regarded as a semi-legend, at least. You know, but not really for a lot of other things he's done, because he's to me, he's the original headless chicken. He runs with his head down and doesn't get anywhere, gives the ball away too often. You know.
I mean, like, you could say Ricky Villa is a legend. He's more of a legend than I think Moura is, to be fair.
But then again, Ricky Villa is a legend because of that goal in the cup final. What else did he do? Not a huge amount. So they're pretty much, it's a good comparison. They are both legends, but they don't deserve legendary status like Glenn Hoddle does, or Dave Mackay does, or Harry Kane does. But they're going to be legends because they scored important goals in important matches, and they're the ones that are remembered. Like, if you asked him what did he do on a wet Tuesday night in Stoke, you won't remember. But what he did on a Wednesday night in Amsterdam and a Thursday night at Wembley, you'll always remember those.
Do you feel the legend gets bounded around at Tottenham too easily now these days?
Well, I mean, most of the legends.
It does, really, to be fair.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, a lot of the legends that you see, they're not legends, they're legends. Same spelling, but different meaning. You know, they'll be calling Harry Winks a legend soon. You know.
Oh Jesus!
So yeah. No, it's a word that's bandied around very easily, but not that many people deserve it. There are players that deserve it. Like there's players on our team that deserve it, but not too many of them. You know, Harry Kane deserves it. Son deserves it as well. You have to say.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, to be
And
fair.
even Hugo Lloris deserves it because of his.
Yeah,
You know,
they're probably the legends of this generation, where every generation there's a couple of legends from every sort of era of Spurs. But look, going back to Conte on Wednesday, what do you want to see from him on the touchline? Look, I want to see him back to his up and down the touchline, shouting, roaring, really getting into it. Do you feel, if we see that he may be sending a signal to his fans, look, I'm here for the long term? Or if we see a sort of secluded, quiet, standing on the touchline with his arm folded, do you feel he's sending then a signal out to the fans, look, it doesn't matter what happens here, I'm out of here?
Now, there may be a problem with him running up and down the touchline after having a gallbladder operation. He may not be, that might not be fit enough to do that. But I don't want to see him slump back in his seat with his arms folded. If I see that, then I know he's gone. He's got to be showing a little bit of animation and getting out of his, if not running up and down, at least standing on the edge of the technical area, barking instructions at people. That's what he needs to be doing. Because remember, this is against an Italian club. He will not want to be beaten by an Italian club.
No.
That would be bad for his pride. So from that point of view, he will be gunning for AC on Wednesday night. But as I said before, the team selection is so important. If he gets the team selection wrong, he's going to be crucified. With no Eric Dyer from being suspended, and bad enough as Dyer has been, we're going to miss his height.
Yeah,
the other three boys aren't exactly 9 foot tall.
No. So that beggars the question, Philip. Who do you put in Dyer's place now? I would do, this is just for me, this is just my own opinion. I would put Romero, Longley, or Emerson, Longley, and Romero as the back three. That's just my
back. I wouldn't play Emerson as centre back. Yeah.
I don't trust Sanchez. I don't trust Davis. There's a mistake. Look, as good as Davis does play on for Wales at left centre back, I still don't trust him in that for Tottenham. He's how many times this season, I mean, the last couple of games has he caused us problems. I tried something new. I tried Pero and probably Perisic or Davis on the left wing back. That would be my back five now. People are probably going to laugh at that and say, "Dermot, you don't know what you're talking about." Philip, what would you do?
I wouldn't play Royal at centre half because I'll tell you why. He's only just learned how to play wing back. I don't think that we can put him in the centre. Yeah. Really, I don't think so. I mean, I think the back three is going to be Romero on the right, Longley in the centre, and Davis on the left. That's going to be the way it's going to go. Be it right or wrong, but Royal will come in, I think, to the team. I think because I think we need his defensive. If we're chasing the goal in the second half, then bring Porro on. But I bring Royal to start the game. So the back five would be Royal, Romero, Longley, Davis, and probably Perisic because there's nobody else on the left. There's nobody else.
That's true. Well, that would be our back five. But Philip, look, it could all horribly go wrong on Wednesday. It could end up as a disaster. We could be knocked out of the Champions League. And look, for me, if we do lose on Wednesday, I think our season is over. I think, look, top four, it's just become predictable. It's nothing in it. It just gets us into the Champions League next year.
Yeah, but that's important, though. That's important. That's very important. Like, we were chasing top four last season. If we'd have finished fifth to Arsenal, we would have been gutted. And I think if the same thing happens this season, if we finish fifth to Newcastle or Liverpool or whoever it is, then I think we'll also be gutted. So the season isn't over, but it's going to be difficult for the lads to pick themselves up.
Yeah.
With a decent game coming after, not even Forest at home, that's a very winnable game. So we need to get back to winning ways in the league anyway. We don't matter what happens on Wednesday, we've got to get back to winning ways in the league. Liverpool are coming like a train behind us.
Yeah, I think we are 3 points ahead of Newcastle and sort of 4 points. We were 4 points ahead of
We're 4 points ahead of them still. We're 4 points ahead of them, I think.
And then 3 points behind Man United then.
Yeah, but they're 2 games in hand on us.
Yeah, but they've got a game in hand of us. With Newcastle losing that league, you've said it on here, Philip, that you feel they may just crumble after the League Cup final.
And they didn't play too badly at Man City, but they didn't play that well either. So it's going to be a big job for Eddie Howe to get those guys working back to the way they were playing.
Do you feel that we're sort of the last two games we shot ourselves in the foot with this top four race, that we could have really sort of secured it more comfortable for us if we had got results against Wolves?
I cannot understand the team selection against Sheffield United. No. There we have and I believe the board are absolutely ripping about it. They're absolutely pulling their hair out. The stronger team wasn't playing. Why Harry Kane wasn't playing? And I mean, it's got to the stage now that you can lose a Premiership match. We were probably, if you think about it, unfortunate. But we were unfortunate in so much as Stellini did not change the tactics in the second half when the Wolves manager did. He should have matched everything that happened, but he didn't. He waited too long to make the subs. And by that stage, it was too late. They were all over us. So this is where Conte can probably maybe use his experience a bit more. But I'm just worried that he won't make the changes at a timely manner. He'll make the changes when it's too late. And either it's 0-0 with 10 minutes to go. That's not the time to make a change. You make a change after an hour.
Yeah.
Give the players that come in at least a bit of time to do something. And this is where it's all going to come out in the wash. If we win on Wednesday, the atmosphere, a lot of things will be forgotten. The last two games will be forgotten. But if we lose on Wednesday or don't get through, I think it's going to be a very toxic attitude, a very toxic atmosphere.
I think it'll be a toxic atmosphere after we lose anyway on Wednesday. So, and that then will probably go on to the Forest game as well. Yeah. I mean, do the fans play more of an important game on Wednesday for getting behind the team and lifted them if they do have a poor start?
Well, what I think the fans should do is, no matter who your allegiances lie, whether you Levy out or Levy don't care. Levy has not got a shirt on Wednesday evening.
No.
The 11 players that take that pitch at 5-8 and listen to that Champions League anthem coming out. If that doesn't get the players going, I don't know what will. If that doesn't get the crowd going, I don't know what will. If I see if I get very angry on Wednesday night, if I see Tottenham fans sitting there moaning and groaning about everything and not getting behind the team, get behind the team. If we lose, then express your anger. But for the 90 minutes of that match, forget everything that's going on. Forget Levy. Forget Conte's managerial situation. Just get behind the team and try and push them forward. Because you can be sure any negativity that's coming from the crowd is picked up by the players. And picked up by AC Milan as well. And they will act on these Italian guys are so cute at exploiting situations. They see weaknesses. We cannot show weakness in the crowd on Wednesday night. Definitely not.
That's so true, Philip. That's so true. And look, and that leads us on to our last bit of what we're going to talk about on this sort of pre-match show against AC Milan. Look, I think it's very difficult for Conte to somehow have some strength in the dressing room for what's going on. Now, maybe the players know what's happening. Maybe inside the club they know what's happening. But again, it's us fans that don't know what's happening. Do you think it's the right time for Conte to come back in and sort of, as you put it, install some confidence into the players after two defeats? But how does he install confidence into these players? Because their confidence is rock bottom at the moment.
You see, I've got this theory, and I mean, it's probably completely off the wall, but I've got this feel something happened in the club between Sunday of last week, when we were all on a high after beating Chelsea and beating them well.
I'll be back in a minute, Philip, sorry.
Yeah, sure. And then 72 hours later, we turn up at Bramall Lane. And we don't turn up at Bramall Lane. We literally lie down and let them tickle us. And it makes me wonder, has something broken in the club that hasn't been released to the public yet about Conte's future? Maybe the players know he's not staying. And that could have a negative reaction on their performance. Because certainly on Saturday, there appeared, for the first 45 minutes anyway, there appeared to be a little bit of a G-up on the performance from Wednesday. But then it all went back, we reverted to type in the second half and didn't compete, let Wolves dominate us, and they deservedly got their winner in the 80th minute. So there's something going on. But that's what we all we want is a bit of transparency, to be told what's happening, that we know what to expect. If he's staying, is he going? Is he signing a new contract? Is he not? And once we know that, at least we know what we can prepare for the future. But at the moment, we're in limbo. We don't know what's happening. And it's very frustrating. And it seems to be fanning through to the players too. They're not able to perform like they should. Because if you look at the games we played this season, I know we're fourth in the league. But can you honestly remember a run of 2 or 3 games that we played well for the entire match? I can't. We've played well for 45 minutes for several games. We've played very badly for 90 minutes in more than one game, maybe 4 or 5 games. And we haven't really played, apart from Chelsea maybe, and possibly most of the West Ham game, we haven't played as a team, as a unit in control for the 90 minutes. And that's what we're going to have to start doing if we want to be successful, if we want to get into the top 4. And starting on Wednesday night, to keep our Champions League dream alive, we need to be at it from the first minute with the crowd behind us. We get an early goal. The Italians they'll have to come at us then, and then we can pick them off again. But the longer that game goes on at 0-0, then the more frustrated the team's going to get, the more frustrated the fans are going to get. And unless the substitutions are made at the right time, I can see a very ugly atmosphere coming at 90 minutes if this game finishes, say, in a 0-0 draw. And that will put the Italians through. Italian teams specialise in 0-0 draws. And let's hope that does not carry forward on Wednesday night. I want to see that Italian team sloping off the pitch at the end, thoroughly beaten and embarrassed by the defeat. And then we can get back to winning ways and start our push for the top 4 as well as the Champions League.
Yeah. Well, look, let's hope we do get on our winners' ways on Wednesday, Philip. Look, as I said, what do you? We've got Milan on Wednesday, Forest on Saturday.
Yeah.
What do you want to see between now and Saturday?
2 wins. 2 wins. 2 convincing wins. 2 wins where we play with flair, without fear, and without any negativity from the crowd. Mm-hmm. You can have all the demonstrations you want outside the ground, but do not have one inside the ground that the players will pick up on.
Yeah.
Please do not do that.
No.
Because it's not doing anyone. If you do that, you're technically wishing the team to lose. And if you're doing that, in my eyes, you're not a Tottenham fan.
No.
You might as well go and support Arsenal or someone.
Yeah. And then, Philip, last question. What's your score prediction for Wednesday?
I'm going to be very bullish on this and go 2-0 to Spurs. I know you're not as confident as I am, but
no, I'm going. We're going to go all the way. We're going to win 4-3 in penalties. The repeat of the '84 UEFA Cup final, where Tony Park saved them 2 penalties down where the South Stand is now. So that is it's going to be a nervy, twitchy, squeaky bomb time game. But I think we will win it, but we'll win it on penalties. That's my view.
I suppose the end justifies the means. I want to see us win, but I want to see us win convincingly and enough to put some of the doubters to bed. But I'm not that confident that will happen. You could well be right there. It could well go to penalties. The one thing we cannot do, we cannot allow them to score. Because if they score, getting a 2-0 lead back from an Italian team is like breaking into the Bank of England. It's not going to work.
Yeah. If they score, Philip, the heads will drop. The confidence is low anyway.
Exactly.
But look, Philip, thank you very much for joining me. I hope everyone will enjoy this. This probably going out probably tonight or tomorrow. Me and Philip will be back sometime tomorrow with another bit of a build up to the game, and then on Wednesday, me and Philip and Ellie will be doing some stuff from inside the stadium and outside the stadium at halftime, full time before the match. So there'll be plenty more content from us here at Tottenham. Philip, all I'm going to say to you when you come over, you better wrap up warm. Yeah, because it's going to get very, very cold over here. Yeah, so have to really have the clothes at the ready.
Yeah. Right, okay. Well, listen, Dermot, we'll see you on Wednesday. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Don't let Jack and David drag you down the pub too quickly,
No, I won't. I try not to. Wink. Right. Right, listen, please like and subscribe, hit that like button, hit the description button. We are on the march to 2K, so please do that. It really will be grateful. Thank you again, Philip. And all we can say is come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs is right. Big time.
Yeah. Here we go.